It was almost 1 in the morning when the all-night conversation started in a hotel suite overlooking New York's Central Park. It was a rambling conversation covering everything from Dylan's early days in the Village to Bob's feelings about his personal life and future. On hand was an old friend, longtime record executive Artie Mogul, former chairman of the board of United Artists Records. He's the man who launched Dylan in the music business as his first publisher. The interviewer was veteran radio producer Bert Kleinman.
Is it true you taught yourself guitar and harmonica?
Well, nobody really teaches himself guitar and harmonica. You know, you just have to, when you don't know anything, you first you get a book or something and you learn. What I remember is learning a couple of chords of some books, and then it's just going out to watch people, to see how they're doing it, how they play those chords, and wherever people are playing, you don't really go so much to hear to hear them. You just go to see how they're doing what they do. Try to get up as close as you can and just see what their fingers are doing. And in that early stage, it's just more like a learning thing. And that sometimes can take years. Like many years sometimes. Sometimes it takes people many years. Sometimes it takes people. To me, I've kind of picked it up rather quickly, but I didn't really play it with that much technique. People really didn't take to me because of that, because I didn't care. I didn't really go out of my way to learn as much technique as some of the people. I knew people that made a complete profession and livelihood out of playing John Lee Hooker chords, just hammering on the E string, and that was all. And they could play it in such a beautiful way; they looked like a ballet dancer. And then when and everybody had a different style. They had styles and they had techniques that especially in folk music. There was your Southern Mountain banjo, and then flat picking, your flat picking technique, and your finger picking techniques, and just all these different runs, different styles of ballads. Folk music was a world that it was very split up. When there was a purist side to it. Many people they didn't want to hear you if you couldn't play a song exactly the way Aunt Molly Jackson played it. They didn't want to hear you play it. So I just kind of blazed my way through all that stuff. I would hear somebody do something, and finally get past a certain point, and it's like, well, what do you want from that? You can learn, it's this. You might want to learn the song or the lyrics, or you might want to see how they're playing. You might want to pick that up, that style they're playing. I don't know. I just stayed up day and night, just barnstorming my way through all that stuff. And then I heard Woody Guthrie one time. Before I got to New York, I heard Woody Guthrie, and then it all came together for me.
Do you remember the first Woody Guthrie record you heard?
Yeah, I think so. The first Woody Guthrie I heard, the first Woody Guthrie song I heard, I think was probably called Passions of Plenty. Passions of Plenty, and Pretty Boy Floyd, and another song that he used to write a lot of his songs from existing melodies. Those, and a couple other ones, maybe were Grand Coulee Dam, and they really impressed me.
Got to you?
Oh
Any of the
yeah.
songs?
Oh yeah. Because they were original. I mean, they just had a mark of originality on them, and the lyrics did. I just learned all the songs. I just heard them. I learned them all off of records. You know, I learned them all the songs of Woody Guthrie that I could find. Anybody that had a Woody Guthrie record or that knew a Woody Guthrie song. And in St. Paul at the time, where I was, there were some people around who not only had his records but that knew his songs. So I just learned them all from him. Some of the best records that I heard him make were these records that he made on the Stinson label with Cisco Houston and Sonny Terry. And I don't know if Leadbelly was on there or not. I heard Leadbelly too, actually. I learned a bunch of his stuff and learned how to play like that. But one of the biggest thrills that I ever had, actually, was when I reached New York, whenever it was. I got to play with Cisco Houston. No, I didn't really. I don't know if I actually got. Yeah, I did get to play with him at a party or something. And but I used to watch him. He used to play at Folk City, nightclub Folk City. He was an amazing-looking guy. I mean, he was like Clark Gable.
Yeah.
He was like he was a movie star.
He reminded me a little of Tennessee Ernie, actually.
Yeah.
Also very unheralded.
Oh, completely. Like one of the great unsung heroes.
Yep.
Of all time, one of the great American figures, and no one. You ask people who about him, nobody knows anything about him.